Well, hello and welcome to this Facebook Live. In today's Facebook Live, we'll be talking about the brand's guide to FinCon 18. So if you are a brand coming to market your services or product at FinCon 18 to the influencers there, we want to share with you today a quick guide of some things to keep in mind as you're preparing for the event. We often get asked, well, how do I approach this event? How do I come there and reach the attendees with the services or products that I have? How do I get in front of people and share what we have to offer so that they can then turn and talk to their readers about it or use it as part of their content creation process. So excited to be joined today by Miss Jessica Buffkin, Director of Events at FinCon. Jessica, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Jessica's the one with all the knowledge. I'll just be going through some of the points here and picking her brain sort of as we work through this Facebook Live. But thanks for joining us today. If you are joining as a brand and will be at the event, we'd love to know about it. So leave a comment below this Facebook Live with the name of your company and who you'll be representing at the conference. And if you know of anyone who should see this, please like it and share it with someone who should see it. So let's kick things off. Our number one item is first to make sure you book meetings before you leave.
Well, so one of the ways that you can do that at FinCon 18 is you can sponsor a pro networking table. So the way I like to explain that to sponsors is that it's kind of like speed dating, speed networking. You get 10-minute appointments in a 3-hour window. So basically you could easily schedule 16 appointments and have those scheduled in advance of FinCon so that you come with your dance card full already. You can actually have 2 sets of meetings going on at the table if you have another brand representative as well. So then you can really have 32. I'm really bad at math. But so it's a great opportunity for you to have these one-on-one meetings already booked in advance so that you come and you're able to say, okay, I'm already going with a plan to talk to these influencers when I get there. Those are pro pass holders that you would be meeting with. So they're the ones who are saying they're here to do business and to have partnerships with you and establish those relationships. So it's a great idea for you to book those meetings before you go. You can also, once you've registered for FinCon, you can use the app. You can reach out to attendees within the app. Even if you don't have a pro networking table, you can reach out to attendees within the app and message them, set up an appointment to talk with them when you get there as well. Just the pro networking table gives you a very specific time where it's already taken care of for you and you're actually targeting the ones that you really want to meet with. So either way, there's some great ways for you to book those meetings before you even show up in Orlando.
I love it. I love it. And it's such a challenge now that the event has gotten big. We'll have 2,000 people in Orlando to try to do a lot of that on site. I mean, you can, but trying to do as much of it beforehand is probably a smart way to approach it, especially since you really want to pinpoint who you want to meet with while you're there. And so we offered up the table and this software just to try to make it a little bit easier on you guys as you're preparing to hit the ground. Like Jessica said, nothing better than telling the boss, hey, I've got 12 meetings already booked before I even head off to be in Orlando. So take advantage of that.
Well, and adding in like why you want to do it in advance, a lot of people are clamoring for their attention. So you want to get in there early and be able to talk to them ahead of time so that they aren't, if you're waiting till you're on site, they've had a lot of people talking to them already probably.
Right. So. Very good. All right. Number 2 is to attend the Speaker Pro Mixer. Tell us about this, Jessica.
Right. So most of our sponsorships come with a pro networking table. So if you're a sponsor already, you probably heard from me via email about the pro networking table. If you're not a sponsor already, we have a link on the website and in this article where you can become one. But also as a part of that pro networking table sponsorship, you're also invited to attend the Speaker Pro Mixer. So that's all of our speakers, all of our pro pass holders, and all of our sponsors show up on Thursday evening to this mixer. So anyone that you weren't able to schedule an appointment with in advance during the pro networking event, you're able to see them, network with them during this mixer. It's a smaller version of the larger event. So it's just a more scaled down intentional version. So that comes with the pro networking table. Unfortunately, if you're not a pro networking table sponsor, then you can't attend, but it is a good incentive to possibly be a part of that sponsorship.
Yep, take advantage of that for sure. The third thing folks would want to do, I think, going into the event is just to showcase, look for the opportunity, I guess, to showcase what your offer, product, solution is there on site. So we have opportunities to do that. Talk about some of those,
Right.
Jessica.
So we have a lot of levels of opportunity for that. So we have our booths, obviously, in FinCon Central, which those are 10 by 10 spaces. We have about 100 booths this year in FinCon Central. So it's a high energy, high buzz place, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But so the booth is an obvious way to get the broad exposure. And with that comes the pro networking table, which we were talking about a few minutes ago. But also there are things like the welcome bag insert. So let's say you're not prepared to do a booth yet, you're new to FinCon, but you still want to get your offer out to people. A welcome bag insert is an easy way to do that. That can be something as simple as a sheet of paper with an offer on it, although a lot of times something more than a sheet of paper gets people's attention because there are a lot of slips of paper and postcards within those bags. We also have a virtual welcome bag insert. And a lot of times people ask us, what are ways that can we do sponsored emails? Can we send that out? This is kind of our one sponsored email that we send out before the event. It has a 500 character count paragraph that you get with your logo. So it's a good way to get your message out to people or your offer or whatever you want to communicate to them in advance of the event. So those are just some ways. I mean, we obviously have others, but some of the easiest ways your offer out to people.
I love it. I love it. Next up is FinCon Central. So what's traditionally been known as our expo hall experience at FinCon, which we put a lot of energy into. We want our attendees. We have a lot of dedicated time for attendees and brands to network together in the expo hall. So talk about what we call now FinCon Central.
Right. So we don't call it the expo hall anymore. We do call it FinCon Central because it is the central hub of what all we do for Thursday afternoon and all day Friday. So from 1 to 5 on Thursday and then from 9 to 5 on Friday, everything takes place in this 40,000 square foot part of FinCon. So we've got 3 content stages going, or 3 content areas going on in there. We've got a main stage where there'll be some FinCon Central talks, which are like less than 10-minute TED Talk style talks that will be taking place. We've got 2 live podcasting stages. We've got 2 live video booths where videos are being produced on site. We've got a lounge. We've got Ask the Expert tables. We've got round tables where they can sit one-on-one and talk about specific topics. We've got niche meetups. Plus, we've got 100 booths on top of that. So it's huge. And one of the things that I often point out to sponsors is our expo hall is not just tucked off down a hall somewhere. It is like the central part of what we do. So there's nothing else competing against it during those times. Everything takes place within that room during that time. And so breakout sessions, all of that is going on in that space. Yep. So it's a really great high energy place that you might want to be a part of as a sponsor.
Yep. And attendees, the influencers that come really want to meet with brands. And so we're giving them lots of opportunity to do that. Obviously, we've got the pro networking, which is sort of the sit down businessy time. And then we've got the expo hall, which is a continuation of that, but in a less formal setting so that people can browse and see a variety of offers and options out there because they want to share what's new and what works with their followers and readers. So they're really coming to do business with you. So think about it not only from a PR perspective, hey, we want to make people aware of what our offer is, but from a true business standpoint as well, business development. I mean, these influencers are savvy. They want to do business with you either through a sponsored campaign or affiliate marketing or some type of referral program or endorsements or speaking opportunities, whatever it is. They're professional. They're serious. They're coming to work with you. And so, use that FinCon Central time frame. It's it's a day and a half total that we give you there to really work in that space and make those things happen. Yeah. And so during the expo hall or just in general during the event, kind of what's your advice for folks, to capture those leads while they're on site? So they're meeting, they've got meetings booked maybe, but they're also just meeting people randomly at the event. So how do they, capture those leads, those emails?
So everybody's system works differently, but the biggest point or tip that I have is to just come with a plan for whatever works best for you, whether it is collecting business cards, whether it is taking photos of business cards with people's faces next to them. That would be simple, even if you're not a sponsor, way to collect those email addresses. Unfortunately, we can't give you their email addresses. We do provide the app where you can reach out to them via the app. But especially if you are sponsoring in a booth or in any other way, you want to come with a way to capture those leads, whatever works for your team, whether it's you do a giveaway, and in order to sign up for the giveaway, you get leads from that, or whether it is that you are asking for their email address in return for swag. However you want to do that, you just need to come with a plan because it will get really overwhelming really quickly for 2,000 attendees to stop by your booth and for you to not have an email capture lead. So that is I think one of the most important planning tips for the event. Sure, you can have a really great booth, but to maximize your time there, how are you going to get everybody's information, and how are you going to capitalize on that when you get home? That's huge.
You talked a lot about content in the FinCon Central. So for brands out there, reps who may want to say, we want to get some of our executives, or I want to participate in some of the content. How do they do that at FinCon?
So we love it when brands come and create content at FinCon. We totally encourage it. A lot of times people ask me for permission as if it's something that we might frown upon. We are totally all about it. So we would love for you in your booth, if you have a booth, to do videos, to do live podcasting in your booth, to have some of your content creators on site who can create blog posts, whether they've interviewed people or whether they have tips that they've gathered from different people that they've met. So all of those things, we absolutely would love for you to do. And in this post that we have that goes with this Facebook Live, there's a link to some examples that sponsors have done in the past and interviews that they've conducted on site with influencers. So if you have a booth and you want to do it in your booth, that's fine. But if you're mobile and you're walking around, we absolutely would love for you to do that too. Just make sure that your mobile setup is mobile, like no standing light kits and things like that. So we got to keep the hallways moving with that many people. But yes, absolutely. We would. There's actually an example of Experian in that post where they are just roving man on the street kind of thing. So they had a completely mobile setup. That's great too. We would love to see any of those things taking place.
Yeah. It's when it's done right. The content on site is one of the coolest things that comes out of the event, because that's an asset that brands can take with them and use the rest of the year. Drip out different pieces of content that they've created at the event. Interviews with influencers. Whatever it may be. So, and piggybacking off that, what about actually speaking, at the event? I know brands oftentimes may be interested in participating in the speaking spots as well. So how does that work?
So a couple of things. One, we typically don't tie speaking and sponsorships together at FinCon. However, unless it's a key sponsorship role, and there's some limited opportunities with that. However, we love for brands to submit speaker proposals. We would love to have you guys involved in helping us to continue to show other people how to create, promote, and profit from content online. So when speaker proposals open back in the beginning of 2019, which will probably be around February or March, you'll want to just sign up for emails on the site so you'll be notified when they're open. This year they closed around March 9th. So we have an early speaker proposal process, but that's also because we have about 200 speakers and it takes a while to go through those. And then we roll them out in certain rounds throughout the year. So we had 3 rounds of speaker announcements this year. So just keep an eye on that, and we'll announce it again for FinCon 19 in the early part of 2019.
Yeah, great advice. So if I'm coming to FinCon, how do I find, my exact influencers amongst this, 1,500 plus odd influencer set? How do I find the exact people that I really want to pinpoint,
Yeah, so there are a couple of ways that you can do that. One is very easy, is once you've registered, you can download the app. You can connect with attendees in the app, like I've mentioned previously. One of the things we've been asking attendees to do this year is to add tags to their profiles. And so those tags will identify them as a credit card blogger or a travel and lifestyle blogger or whatever, so they can find the specific tags and niches within the community that you specifically might be looking to connect with. So that's one way. Another way that you can do that is through a pro networking table, like we talked about a few minutes ago, or by hosting a dinner or event. Like, let's say there are influencers that you know already that you want to connect with because maybe you have a partnership with them already, but you want to add to that list of influencers. And I kind of am jumping ahead on you there, but we'll combine these two. You can treat them to some sort of dinner or event or something like that. And so what we do with that license and that partnership is we help you identify the people that you are looking for in those specific niches. So while we can't give out their email addresses, we can say, hey, you may want to invite so-and-so because they're within that niche as well. And we can give you a list of those as well. So those are some ways that you can find your influencers, and also connect with ones that you might know already, want to actually just continue to solidify that partnership with.
Yeah. We'd love for you to come to FinCon and have your own meetings, have your own meals, happy hours. Do that. Take advantage of the fact that we've brought all these folks together And so, yeah, meet your business partners while you're there. But we just ask that you work through us through that process, because we can help identify additional people. We can allow you to use the FinCon branding and make it a real special event there in the hotel. So,
and well, let me also add this, and we're just trying to protect the integrity of the schedule. There are a lot of people trying to do the same thing, and we somehow have to keep up with all of that so that we can make sure that our partnerships that are in place already are protected, but also that we are making sure that everybody's not overwhelmed in hosting events at the same time, too. Sure. It just helps to make sure that the event runs well.
Yeah. So those are the main, I think, ways a brand can kind of interact with the event and make the most of it. But we've got a few other kind of smaller items here. Just want to pinpoint and quickly work through. Prepay your meals at the event. Yeah. So, yeah, talk about that.
So the hotel's a great location. It's a great resort. They do have some restaurants on site. They also have a 24-hour market that is very reasonably priced. So those options are definitely there for you. But for the brands who say, I don't even want to have to worry about it, that's one more decision, one more thing I have to think about, we have a prepaid meal plan for $2.99 that covers all of your breakfasts and lunches on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, as well as snacks and coffee throughout. So if you just don't want to have, if you want the no worry plan, adding your meals is the no worry plan, and we can help you with that if you just email us.
What do folks need to wear to the event?
Totally low maintenance. I mean, what you're wearing right now would be a typical FinCon t-shirt. I think you may even be wearing. You'll see we're not a stuffy financial conference. We're a bunch of influencers who, a lot of us work from home, and we're pretty low key. I mean, jeans, t-shirts, we're kind of known for FinCon t-shirts, and also t-shirts being given away for swag in the booth. Our community loves t-shirts. But some people will dress up, but there's no requirement for that from us anyway.
What about pre-conference, sort of getting attention? If you want to work with FinCon right now, you don't want to wait till September, you want to do something with us right now, how can they engage with us?
So you can just email us, reach out to us at admin@finconexpo.com. I can let you know what's still available and what ways that we can work with you at this point as far as sponsorships go. And then as far as like reaching out to the community, you can also use our FinCon 18 hashtag. That's a good way to communicate with attendees and to talk with them on Twitter. We have most of our attendees are really active on Twitter. And so if you want to get in the mix and have your social media people be mixing with FinCon attendees, using that hashtag is another way to do that.
Oh, great. So anything I left off? Have we prepared the brands adequately to come to FinCon and make the most of the experience?
Well, I hope we have, but I'm sure there's probably something that's missing because there's a lot of moving parts. I think the only other thing that I would include is don't discount Saturday. Saturday is our big content day. If you've got content developers within your community or within your brand that can be there, as well as just you interacting with our attendees, we don't shut down Friday after FinCon Central closes. Saturday is a full day of content, as well as ending with our keynote speaker. I mean, it's still a high energy day, and then we have our closing party as well. So unless you just got to get home, Saturday is well worth your time to stick around. And I think a lot of brands tend to think in terms of FinCon Central closing on Friday, and so it's time to go home, when there are a lot of really good conversations to be had on Saturday, because some brands do go home on Friday afternoon. So that's just an insider's tip. You might have some better conversations on Saturday if you're a brand.
Yeah, stick around. It'll be worth your time. So, and the closing party will be fun as well. That's my birthday on Saturday, so we'll be sure to have a good time. But thanks for joining us for this Facebook Live. You can always reach out to Jessica or I. We both read the email at admin@finconexpo.com. And we'd love to have you partner with us on the event. But if not, that's cool. Please just come check it out, experience it, take some of these tips, some of the DIY ones, some of the engaged ones with us, and make the most of your experience there. Please share this, like this, with anyone you think could use it, and let us know in the comments if you have any other questions. We'll be answering questions on this Facebook Live, and I think that's it. Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.
I survived my first Facebook Live.